The minicamp didn't just buzz, it detonated. Clips of Shedeur Sanders carving up drills spread across feeds like wildfire. And suddenly, a quiet training field felt more like a red carpet premiere. He wasn't merely throwing accurate passes, he was making statements. Lasers to the sideline, deep bombs that looked rehearsed, and a pocket poise that forced everyone to blink twice. On the other side, Dillon Gabriel showed up polished, ready to prove himself, only to watch highlights steal the room and whispers turn into a narrative. Rumors began to orbit, uneven reps, locker room tension, even talk of legal calls. None confirmed, but loud enough to change the mood. This isn't preseason theater. It's a shifting storyline that could rewrite who gets the keys to the Browns' offense. And the rest of training camp? It's already watching. Dillon Gabriel showed up to Browns camp like a man on a mission. Visor gleaming, cleats spotless, confidence dialed in. After all, this was supposed to be his moment. Drafted higher than Shedeur Sanders, backed by experience and a reputation for consistency, he was expected to set the tone, not chase it. But sometimes the game humbles fast. The first few snaps looked clean, safe throws, tidy footwork, everything by the book. Then Shedeur walked in. Suddenly, drills that had felt routine became highlight reels. Each Sanders spiral drew louder reactions, and by the time practice wrapped, the energy had shifted. Gabriel wasn't struggling. He was steady. But next to Shedeur's flash, it didn't matter. The crowd, the teammates, even the cameras could feel it. There was a new rhythm to the field, and Gabriel wasn't conducting it. What started as quiet competition was quickly turning into a spotlight duel. One Gabriel didn't see coming. It didn't take long for the gap to show. During one-on-one drills, Shedeur Sanders turned routine throws into viral clips, sidearm lasers, deep bombs that hit receivers in stride, and timing so precise it looked rehearsed. Every rep felt like a statement, every spiral like a challenge. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel played it safe. Controlled, technical, textbook. But in a league built on moments, safe doesn't trend. Teammates started reacting differently too. The oohs and dams echoed after Shedeur's throws, while Gabriel's completions barely pulled a nod. By the second day of camp, even the cameras seemed to favor one side of the field. Online, edits flooded TikTok and Twitter, captioned with QB1 incoming and the Shedeur show. Coaches wouldn't say it out loud, but the tone of practice had shifted. It wasn't about depth charts anymore. It was about who could own the moment. And Shedeur, with every effortless flick of the wrist, looked like he already had. Then came the off-field storm, the kind no playbook prepares you for. Rumors started flying that Dillon Gabriel's camp had reached out to legal reps after a heated practice session went viral. Nothing was confirmed, but the whisper spread faster than a breaking news tweet. Some claimed he felt publicly embarrassed. Others said it was about false narratives, but either way, the story caught fire. Within hours, fans were debating courtroom drama instead of quarterback stats. Memes labeled it cease and desist versus deep ball, and Reddit threads lit up with fake legal documents. The idea of a player lawyering up over practice clips sounded wild, and maybe it was, but it fed the story's momentum perfectly. Meanwhile, Shedeur stayed silent, scrolling past the noise like it didn't exist. No comments, no shade, just quiet confidence that said everything louder than words. For the Browns, it wasn't just a QB competition anymore. It was turning into a full-blown saga. One part football, one part social media frenzy, and entirely impossible to ignore. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just playing football. He was building a movement. Every throw, every stride, every calm sideline glance carried the kind of energy that made teammates lean in and cameras stay rolling. But with that spotlight came the weight of expectation. Critics called him overhyped, claiming his fame was more about his last name than his play. Yet those same voices went quiet every time he stepped on the field and made the game look effortless. Sure, he'd drawn some off-field headlines, like that speeding incident that briefly grabbed attention, but when the whistle blew, none of it seemed to matter. What fans saw wasn't arrogance, it was control, precision, poise under pressure. Shedeur didn't need to talk. His throws spoke for him, and every perfect spiral reminded the league that the buzz wasn't hype, it was proof. Still, as his legend grew, so did the questions. Could he keep that composure once the real season hit? Could he turn momentum into legacy? Because greatness, as Shedeur was learning, doesn't just shine, it stays steady when everyone's watching. As camp rolls toward kickoff, the buzz around Cleveland feels less like preseason chatter and more like prophecy. The Browns didn't just find a quarterback battle, they found a storyline that's gripping the entire league. Dillon Gabriel, once seen as the steady hand, now fights to prove he belongs in the same sentence as Shedeur Sanders, whose rise feels less like luck and more like destiny. Coaches insist the competition is still open, but everyone can read the room. Shedeur has become the pulse of practice, the spark that turns drills into theater. Still, the true test isn't viral clips or camp chemistry. It's what happens when the scoreboard starts talking. Under stadium lights, there's no editing, no buzz, just truth in motion. For Gabriel, it's redemption or regret. For Shedeur, it's the beginning of something bigger, a chance to turn hype into history. One thing's certain, when week 1 hits, Cleveland won't just be watching a game. They'll be witnessing the birth of a new era. One throw, one headline, one legend in the making.